This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
To be honest with you, Leader Schumer and Leader Thune, if you put them both in a gym working out, I'm going to go with Leader Thune because I know how good a shape he is.
It's creating a supply chain problem.
Gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds.
I'm riding because my mom has stage 4 cancer.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. Deadline. Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill is about to go up for a vote in the U.S. Senate.
It's going to be a long day. Usually the Senate operates either by unanimous consent or exhaustion. Probably the latter will be true today.
What is tucked inside?
The doubling of the standard deduction, the enhanced child tax credit, no tax on tips is being added in, no tax on overtime, enhanced senior tax credit, business tax credits.
Democrat Adam Schiff says it's a no for him.
Donald Trump promised he wouldn't cut Medicaid. But this bill cuts hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid. It is shredding the president's commitment made again and again.
Mark Wayne Mullen is a Republican senator from Oklahoma.
They're throwing their little tantrum here like a spoiled kid. I expect it to go till probably 10 o'clock tonight. At some point, they're going to wear down. And to be honest with you, Leader Schumer and Leader Thune, if you put them both in a gym working out, I'm going to go with Leader Thune because I know how good a shape he is.
We're learning more about that attack in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho yesterday. 2 firefighters that went to put out a brush fire were ambushed and killed. More than 300 officers responded. This was the 911 call.
Law enforcement up here immediately. We've got 2 unresponsive battalion chiefs, gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds. 2 Coeur d'Alene firefighters are down. I'm pinned down behind Battalion 1's rig. It's clear to me that this fire was set intentionally to draw us in.
A 3rd responder was hit but is expected to survive. The alleged gunman took his life. The U.S. Supreme Court will take up a Republican-led drive to wipe away limits on how political parties work with candidates to raise money. Zachary Shimtoff is owner of the SCOTUS blog.
It's a challenge to whether political parties can be restricted from spending money on campaign advertising with input from political candidates. So this could potentially upend campaign finance regulations a great deal.
The Trump administration says its investigation of Harvard found the college did not properly protect Jewish students on campus. CBS reporter Stacey Lynn.
In a statement, the Ivy League school disputes what the federal report concluded. It says Harvard is far from indifferent on this issue and strongly disagrees with the government's findings. Following its own task force report, Harvard says it released a list of actions and commitments along with initiatives the university's put in place to show it will continue to take this seriously.
The world's most famous tennis tournament, Wimbledon, just got underway in Europe.
I'm sunburned all over.
The BBC's Guy Hedgecoe is in Madrid.
50 years ago, it was extremely unusual to have a heat wave in June. Now it's unusual, but it started happening more and more. There have been 9 heat waves in June in Spain over the last 25 years.
An 82-year-old woman critically injured in the Molotov cocktail fire attack in Colorado has died. Mohammed Solomon is accused of injuring more than a dozen people earlier this month after using a homemade flamethrower and Molotov cocktails at a crowd marching in support of Israeli hostages. Karen Diamond's death prompted state prosecutors to file new first-degree murder charges against Solomon. There has been a dramatic rise in the number of attacks on religious institutions in the United States. CBS's Scott McFarland.
Between 2021 and 2023, the number of assaults in houses of worship, churches, synagogues, temples has doubled. That's a remarkable increase in such a short period of time. It's one that the U.S. Department of Justice is going to have to wrestle with.
It is shaping up to be a record-breaking July 4th holiday week. AAA is predicting over 72 million people will venture at least 50 miles from home. That's an additional 1.3 million road travelers compared to 2024. Meanwhile, U.S.-China trade relations could impact the availability of fireworks. In New York and Pennsylvania this 4th of July. That's because more than 95% of the world's fireworks come from China.
The timing of the tariffs couldn't have hit at a worse time. It's creating a supply chain problem.
Julie Heckman is executive director of the American Pyrotechnics Association. She says fireworks are also costing more this year because of the tariffs. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, will recreational marijuana make the cut in Pennsylvania? More details on the socialist running for New York City mayor, and a name you know may run for president in 2028. Those stories after weather with Kevin Williams.
Here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. The call for tonight, mainly cloudy and muggy. Some showers and thunderstorms, local downpours, low temps, upper 60s and low 70s. Tomorrow, variable clouds, couple more showers and thunderstorms in the area, some breaks of sun as well. High temperatures mid 70s to the middle 80s. Plenty of sunshine on Wednesday, high temperatures in the lower to mid 80s.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories, making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. It looks like legalized recreational marijuana is not going to make it in the $50 billion Pennsylvania budget this time around.
Anything is possible in this town, but I don't see that as a possibility. It's really not a big part of the current negotiations and topics. I know it was something that was pushed by the governor really hard, and the Democrats in the Senate really squashed that.
Pennsylvania State Representative Clint Owlett spoke at the Family Life newsroom today.
We're all just trying to find a reasonable way to move forward and create some predictability and stability for the taxpayers and our job creators here in the state of Pennsylvania.
The budget due before midnight tonight, but for the third year in a row, lawmakers are expected to miss that deadline. Owlett explained what's holding everything up.
I think the biggest thing for us is energy. That's not creating a predictable climate for business and growth. Waste, fraud, and abuse, trying to figure out ways that we can save money, places that we need to be looking for, and pretty much every budget that we have is supporting student-centered education.
Without a state spending plan in place, the Commonwealth loses some of its ability to pay vendors, counties, and public schools. New York Congressman Mike Lawler was interviewed by Fox News this afternoon about the man that just won the Democratic primary for New York City mayor leading up to the full elections, Zohran Mamdani.
You have an avowed socialist who is running to be mayor of the financial capital of the world, New York City. He has denounced capitalism. He says he wants to eliminate billionaires. He wants to freeze the rent. He wants government-run grocery stores. He wants free busing and mass transit. And yet, who's paying for all of this? As Margaret Thatcher said, the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money, and that's exactly what will happen.
Lawler predicts if Mamdani gets in, there will be a mass exodus out of New York City. Two women who've accused former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo of sexual harassment are now calling on the state comptroller to stop paying his legal bills. Under state law, New York reimburses public officials for the legal fees they incur during criminal investigations. Charlotte Bennett is one of Cuomo's accusers. She's calling for legislation to turn off the tap on Cuomo's legal defense.
This is critical legislation that would provide essential protections for survivors to come forward, for workers to come forward.
A spokesperson for Cuomo says people have a right to defend themselves against false accusations. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro is among the top Democratic candidates for president in 2028. A new Emerson College survey has him tied with New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for fourth place on the list of possible contenders. Former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is first, followed by former Vice President Kamala Harris and California Governor Gavin Newsom. Next at 5, our summer feature Missions Pulse. This week, a ministry focused on social media addiction. Let's listen in.
This is Mission Pulse. Mondays during the Noon Report, we spotlight ministries that are making a difference. This week, we're talking to Brad Huddleston with Brad Huddleston Ministries in Virginia about his effort to wean people off social media. Here's some of our conversation. Well, it is such an honor to have you on. We've spotlighted you several times on our radio station to talk about what every family is dealing with these days, and that is just this overwhelming onslaught of social media in our faces 24/7. You've written the book on this. In fact, you've written a couple books on this, Digital Cocaine and Digital Rehab. I just want to start today, Brad, by asking you, when it comes to social media, how bad is it in terms of hours a day we are spending staring at screens?
Well, the numbers on that vary by country. By far, the worst country for that is South Africa. They're logging somewhere between 11 and 12 hours a day staring at screens. That would include social media and other activities. Here in America, it's right around 7 hours and 30 minutes. Teenagers, of course, spending about that much time. Parents, a little bit less. Australia, where I spend quite a bit of my time, they're the same. They're way up there as well. So for my dissertation, what I would like to do is do a pilot study in New York, do a case study in Australia, and take that data, see what emerges, and then create a global curriculum to help people detox. And so out of this data that emerges, and of course with a biblical worldview, the end game is to create this curriculum. So we're finally seeing, Bob, the needle move. It's been a long slog. I've been writing and speaking about this since about 2010 or 11.
Yeah.
And we're just now starting to see it's getting so bad around the world with this mental health crisis, a global mental health crisis brought on by all the digital saturation.
Yeah. When you talk about a digital detox, you're pretty adamant that you got to go cold turkey here. It's not a question of, okay, just in moderation. Why won't that approach work when it comes to social media addiction?
Well, when you talk about digital addiction, you're talking about dopamine levels on par with heroin and cocaine. And now that's literal. That's medical. That's why these devices are so addictive. So when you talk about a detox, a parent, and they often do this, and Bob, these are not evil parents. These are well-meaning parents. They're rational. They're loving. They, for years, have said this: if you will behave yourself to their children during the week, do your chores, do your assignments, homework, and all of that, on Saturday, I'll give you, 3 hours of whatever you want to do on your screen. Not anything immoral, but your video games and so forth, Minecraft and that. But from a medical perspective, what I have to gently tell them is that cocaine is bad on Saturday, just like it is on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so they're well-meaning, and they're trying to be loving and fair and limit and balance and all of that. But it just doesn't work because of the medical reasons of too much dopamine. So what we're about with the detox, you have to do exactly what a cocaine or a heroin addict would do. You can't limit your heroin use. You have to cut it off. Cold turkey. You're just going to have to lop it off, and then you have to go for an extended period of time. 4 to 6 weeks is what the data shows will, for the most part, handle the withdrawal symptoms, and then you have to develop new habits.
That's Brad Huddleston Ministries in Virginia. You can subscribe, listen to, and share Missions Pulse and all of Family Life's original podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or at familylife.org.
There's a saying, careful what you wish for, you just might get it. Hi, I'm Rob West with a Faith and Finance Minute. Too often, the joy of material possessions has a short life. Once obtained, the excitement goes away. Worse, the things we own can become spiritual obstacles. Jesus warns in Luke 12:15, "Take care and be on your guard against all covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions." I'm not saying you have to sell all you have and live a life of poverty to be a faithful steward, but it's important to know that possessions demand your attention. God wants to use you to your fullest for his kingdom, but seeking contentment in material things will block that every time. So pursue the kind of treasure that never fades. Invest in what matters to God. We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, a race for a cause. We'll tell you why 8,000 people were on bicycles in Western New York after weather.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Plan on some flash and splash tonight. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will be moving through the area ahead of a cold front. As that front passes, the showers and storms depart later tomorrow, on our way to a bright, sunny, dry day on Wednesday. The next weather maker, another front, brings some showers and rumbles Thursday. Looks to clear out, though, in time for a nice 4th of July Friday. The call for tonight, mainly cloudy and muggy. Some showers and thunderstorms, local downpours, low temps upper 60s and low 70s. Tomorrow, variable clouds, a couple more showers and thunderstorms in the area, some breaks of sun as well. High temperatures mid 70s to the middle 80s. Plenty of sunshine on Wednesday, high temperatures in the lower to mid 80s.
Thank you, Kevin. Finally, at 5,000s took part in the 30th annual Ride for Roswell charity bike race over the weekend in Buffalo, New York. It raised over $6 million for cancer research at Roswell Park.
More people alive today that are cured of their disease because of the funds that are raised here at this ride.
Most had their own personal decisions for giving back to the community.
I'm riding because my mom has stage 4 cancer, and I'm riding for everybody that needs help.
I'm riding in honor of my sister Kayla, who's a cancer survivor and now also a nurse at Roswell.
I am riding for my dad, who got diagnosed with leukemia this past fall, and my friend Ian.
My aunts, all three of them have cancer, and they fought it and they beat it.
Since this event began 3 decades ago, over $80 million has been raised for cancer research at Roswell, making a difference in Buffalo. And that's the world that we live in for Monday, the 30th of June. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.